Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at the Offspring's new album, Supercharged, and the first track, Looking Out for Number One, has a very familiar sound to me in a good way. It very much sounded like You're Gonna Go Far, Kid, and it also even had those deep voice parts that you hear in some of Offspring's older songs, like I believe maybe not Self-Esteem, but and not The Kids Aren't Alright. It's the joke song. It's not really a joke song. It's their biggest song. I can't believe it's escaping me now, but it's got that deep voice that happens, and I think it's just Dexter's voice, but pitched lower. But it's like looking up for number one, and then he's looking up for number one. So it's pretty catchy, and it kind of makes you remember the older Offspring days. But yeah, I would say Looking Out for Number One is a very strong start to the album, and comparing it honestly to their most recent album, I feel like their most recent one was a lot more, I think, darker, and the sound mixing, I'm no expert in that, as I always say, but you can definitely tell that there's some different levels for all the instruments and the vocals on this one compared to the most recent album, which I like, by the way. And I would say this song definitely is like your brighter Offspring kind of stuff, not so much the darker stuff. Like, I think Splinter, that album, is pretty dark in some tones, and the Self-Esteem album, I'm just forgetting all the names, but that album is also in a darker tone. And then finally, when they started doing lighter stuff, is Americana. So I feel like this album is light in tone, like Americana, and well, some of Americana's songs were pretty dark too, like The Kids Aren't Alright, but most part Americana's lighter in tone and happiness, and so is Conspiracy of One, and I would say so is Supercharged so far. So next song, Light It Up, again for me has Americana vibes all over the place. There's a very cool change in the post-chorus, and it's basically just classic Offspring sound, and there's a pretty good lyric where it's "move it on" or "move it out." That's the lyric, and it really shows off his singing. Like, Dexter is a good singer. Like, I don't know if people do not think that, but I do. Like, he's pretty good, and he has the harmonies in that lyric, and it just sounds great. So yeah, that's probably my favorite part of the song. So far, 2 out of 2, looking good. The Fall Guy, I really didn't have much to say about the Fall Guy, and that's actually not a bad thing. It's just straight up punk Offspring, like Ixnay on the Hombre, and it's this. I could say Dexter's voice sounds great on it. That's about all I can say about it, and that's actually not a bad thing. Usually, when I don't have a lot to say about a song, it's a bad thing. But in this case, the Fall Guy is perfect. Nothing wrong with it. Next song, Make It All Right, is basically their main single for the album, and it definitely gave me the I Want You Bad kind of vibes, the song from Conspiracy of One, and especially with like the poppy production, you can kind of feel it's almost like they cranked up the production on this particular song. I don't know how that's quantifiable, but it just sounded really clean, I guess. And the girl robot voice is kind of random, but in my opinion, it doesn't take away from the song at all. I think it's just like artistic style choice with that, because it's a upbeat, lighter song. And the guitars actually really sound really great on this song in particular. Not saying they don't sound bad on the other songs, but like I was saying a second ago, it's almost like they just grabbed a production knob and like cranked it up for this song in particular. The next song, Okay, But This Is the Last Time, is pop Offspring, and it's basically, again, I Want You Bad on basically on steroids, so even more than Make It All Right. And I actually really dug this song because it sounds like if the Offspring wrote a Taylor Swift song, if that's even possible. And it's actually really great. It works out really well. There's a little bit of like quiet violins, nice touch. And in my opinion, it's the best love song on the album. And I guess this is true, but Dexter and the guys at the Offspring could always write pop because it's a pop punk band. So that kind of makes sense. But this literally, in every sense of the word, track number 5 is a pop song. And it's great. I have no problems with it. It's really standing the test of time. Like, it's actually really good. The next song, Truth and Fiction, is basically back to punk side of Offspring. And it has cool lyrics kind of about deep fakes and modern technology and how we can't really believe what we see sometimes on the internet. And I've noticed a lot of rock bands have been talking about that lately. So I don't know if that's going to make that topic cliche for songs. Maybe it will. But I'd say the Offspring tackle this cliche in a pretty good way. Just talking about how modern technology is freaking all of us out. And yeah, they're basically so good at these 2-minute punk tracks. It's insane. And the catchy guitars and drums and just classic vocals on Truth and Fiction. The next song is pretty fun. It's Come to Brazil. And I'm sure everybody in the rock community knows about how passionate basically all South American fans are, especially about rock. I'm sure they love rap too down there, but it just seems like they are aggressively into rock, which is cool to see. And I mean, just pick a band, pick any band, almost any band, and scroll down, just pick any post. And if the post has 50 or more comments, you are likely going to see at least 5 to 10 Come to Brazils in the comments, which is props to them because they love the Offspring. And the Offspring noticed that, apparently, and made a whole song about it. So this song in particular, I feel like, is the like metal punk side of the Offspring that we would see a lot like in Splinter and a little bit in the Self-Esteem album, which I forget again. But yeah, kind of the metal thrashy side of Offspring on this song. And there was cool screaming vocals from Dexter as well. And in my opinion, this song has the best drumming on the album. And there's also a cool Ole, Ole, Ole section, which is appropriate for Brazil. And I noticed this. Isn't it funny that Blink-182... I gotta talk about Blink-182. Of course I do. Even in Offspring video. But the Dance With Me song says Ole, 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 right? And this song says Ole, Ole, Ole. Coincidence? I think not. So I just thought that was funny. And yeah, there's coincidences that keep happening with Blink-182. But anyway, I really do like this song. And even though it's kind of like a gimmick song, it really works. And I would say this is very much like a cross between Splinter and Ixnay on the Hombre kind of song. The next one, Get Some, is basically a classic rock tribute to Kansas's song Carry On. And if you'd listen to the song, you'd immediately recognize it's just really paying tribute to Kansas in that song in particular, with a great riff that's on that song. And it's kind of interpolated, and they kind of play it at the very beginning like they're going to play the rest of the riff, and then they don't, and then they do other parts of the riff throughout the song. It's a really fun song. very cool idea. So props to them for that. And next song, Hanging by a Thread, I put is, in my opinion, has the best guitars on the album. And it's just classic punk rock. It sounds like something off of Splinter or Rise and Fall of Raging Grace, I think. So, I mean, they're just knocking it out of the park, like one by one. The last song, You Can't Get There From Here, very much to me sounds like Conspiracy of One, or maybe on Days Go By, and very grunge like. Oh, there's the name of the, dang it, the name of the album, Smash. I can't believe I forgot that name. But I said that this song also has kind of like that grungy sound from Smash. So it's very much a strong bookend to a very solid, basically back to bread and butter album from the Offspring. And because of that, I am going to give it a 10 out of 10 because there are no skips. And that is my one rule. Just like Batman, I have one rule. If there's no skips, I have to give it a 10 out of 10. So that is my review. Let me know what you guys think of this new Offspring album, and I'll catch you guys later.